I don't know where this bank was, but it does look like something Bonnie and Clyde or John Dillinger robbed. I got up very early at Mount Rushmore to get down into the valley into Rapid City and head to my next destination. I wanted to stop at a dispersed camping area that I had planned to stay the night at. Um, but I went ahead and drove down to that area and took a nap and woke up to some beautiful area. You can see my route for this whole day from Rapid City, well, actually from Mount Rushmore through Rapid City, through the Badlands, and then through some back country driving to the Missouri River where I crossed at Fort Randall Dam. East of Rapid City is the South Dakota Air and Space Museum. I drove there and parked to take a nap, and this was my view in the morning. At the gas stations, there were these little green dinosaurs. I thought that was an interesting novelty. Here's a view of the sunrise over South Dakota. This is where I planned to camp at a dispersed location outside of Rapid City the night before, but I ended up staying in the mountains near Mount Rushmore. And so I came here after the sunrise and stopped and looked into the Badlands, which that's a view of. And here's a drive down into the Badlands. Decided to extend my trip by going through this national park where it's just the landscape is eroded away. It looks like a huge water event just washed away the top of the soil and down to the bedrock, and this is the remnant of it. After driving through South Dakota back roads, I arrived at Fort Randall Dam, and that's where I got my first look at the Missouri River. I crossed over at this dam and continued in South Dakota some more down the coast. This map shows where Fort Randall Dam is and Vermilion, where I camped out the next night. I made camp here at Mulberry Bend Wildlife Area. As you can see in this picture, I got there at about dusk and I cooked my dinner, set up my camp, enjoyed the beautiful swamp-like atmosphere. It's very hot and muggy there and there were a lot of bugs. So my bug net definitely helped me. The next morning I was greeted with this beautiful sunrise, brilliant colors, everything just popped. The next day's drive was a long, grueling one. I went from just north of Sioux City, South Dakota, all the way to St. Louis, Missouri, and crossed over into Illinois to camp for that night. It was quite a ride, but I arrived at a nice, beautiful campground on the Missouri River in Illinois. As you can see the picture here. For the next morning to go to Cahokia and view the ancient mounds. Cahokia is in Illinois at the very bottom near St. Louis, and it is one of the most ancient mound structures. It's Native American from about 1100 AD until about 1400 AD, and they've just been sitting there unrecognized for what they are, and really they're a remnant of Native American civilization called the Mississippian mound builders, and they had an extensive set of cities throughout the Mississippi Valley. And this particular site was considered to be, at its time, possibly larger than the city of London at its time. So it appears that the Native Americans had an extensive civilization that died out. And when the Europeans came, they experienced a post apocalyptic remnant of an ancient civilization. This is an artist's drawing of what the compound could have looked like back at 1400 AD. While I was riding around on my scooter, I saw this. I even got close enough to this deer here to catch this little clip. I thought it was interesting, so I included it. My next stop was to go visit the arch and see how close I can get to it. It was closed, so I couldn't get onto the property, but I did get this view of it from this side street, which was good enough because I needed to get going. The next part of my journey took me across southern Illinois into Indiana, where I met up with my friend Dan Fagan and his wife Kim, and I spent a couple days there. They put me up in a nice hotel in a state park, had a room for the night, got cleaned up, enjoyed a lot of good food and good company, toured around the town here where he lives, and I'll show you the pictures. This is Dan and Kim Fagan. They live in Indiana. Dan is a good friend of mine, and I haven't seen him for about 30 years. We used to do ministry together down on the streets of San Diego and sharing the gospel with whoever would listen. This is Joe Palooka. Have no idea who he is, but he looks buff. Oolitic is famous for its Indiana limestone. Many buildings are built with it, and it's famous for the Washington monuments that it has been used for building. And here are a few samples. That was the company, and here's the picture of the quarry. For my second night in Oolitic, Indiana, I decided to camp at this campground. Downpour of rain, I got soaking wet, but it was fun. It was a good trip. And then in the morning, I went to the Virgil Gus Grissom Memorial and saw a number of pictures and artifacts from his life. As you know, he perished in Apollo 1 fire that killed 3 astronauts, but he was from this town, Mitchell, Indiana. Well, that's all for now. I took off cross country again, headed up into Ohio, and that'll be the subject of another video. But for now, happy trails.